While some directors like to change styles with every movie they make, there are also some who stick to one particular approach. Probably the most recognizable director to do so is Wes Anderson. Let's check out what makes Wes Anderson movies so Wes Andersonian.
Are we rolling? Action!
First up is the cast. Like many auteurs, Anderson has built up a company of recurring actors who often appear in his films. If you see Jason Schwartzman, Owen Wilson, Tilda Swinton, and Adrian Brody on screen, chances are that you're watching a Wes Anderson movie. And these are just a few of the actors who appear in Anderson's films over and over again. In fact, there's one other star who's in almost all of Wes's projects. And the question is, why does he come back every time?
I'd like to answer that one if I could. We are promised very long hours and low wages. That's pretty much it. It's kind of it's this crazy thing where you're asked to come and work very long hours. You lose money on the job. You lose money on the deal because you end up spending more in tips than you ever earn on the money. But you get to see the world and you get to live. We're allowed to let Wes live this wonderful, magical life he has where it's his dreamscape comes true. So if we show up, he gets to have all the fun. And I guess it's because we like him that we go along with this.
When watching a Wes Anderson movie, you can't get around his visual style. Every frame of the film looks like a beautiful photograph. In particular, the filmmaker loves making very symmetrical compositions. And many of his shots feature actors in front of a flat background. In technical terms, what's called planimetric staging. This makes you feel almost as if you're watching a stage play.
I think part of what I like to do when I make a film is to make a world that you don't necessarily recognize. You know, I like to try to set the story in a sort of invented place. So the details are really a way of creating that world, I think, and that's part of part of why I like to make movies.
And creating that world has become more and more a thing in Anderson movies. Especially the detailed environments of the Grand Budapest Hotel and the French Dispatch are like mini micro-worlds that the audience gets sucked into. In addition, his use of color is an easy-to-spot signature. Wes's Art Nouveau style is defined by muted but vibrant colors like reds, greens, lilacs, and soft blues. Also, all the sets and backgrounds are real. There are very few special effects in Wes Anderson's films, and the director prefers to use models instead of green screens, and he has a good reason for that.
The real answer is I love models, and when I just respond. There's some kind of charm in. I mean, it's a funny thing because usually I want to do the model in the first place. We work hard on the model. I know it's a model. I'm doing it because it's a model. But then when it's in the movie, I'm always trying to convince people it's not a model and see if I get to. And everybody knows instantly. You can tell instantly when it's a model. You're not fooling anybody. But it's something that I associate with sort of cinema history. And I love seeing a model pop up on the screen in a Hitchcock movie or Carol Reed or it's part of the tradition of movies I love.
The tone of an Anderson movie is very particular. Most of the time his films are full of dry comedic moments, but at the same time there's an aura of sadness in there. The funny thing is that the writer-director himself usually hasn't decided what sort of movie he's making, even while he's making it.
You know, I always think I'm making a comedy, and usually I sort of make it sadder as it goes along. But oftentimes, even in a scene, I don't really choose comedy or drama or something. I feel like I'm often kind of trying to do both at the same time, which is maybe a little odd.
Another Anderson trademark is the use of children, who are often very smart in his films, almost like they're grown-ups. He usually comedically contrasts the mature, intelligent child characters with immature, unintelligent adults.
Look at me in the eyes. We love each other. Think about what I'm saying. Are you sure you're ready for this? Let me rephrase it. Will you spit out the gum, sister? In fact, everybody.
Wes Anderson really is a one-of-a-kind director, and although his style is very particular, he's one of the most popular art film directors out there.
I think what makes Wes Anderson popular is what makes all great director-writers popular. They write their point of view. It's corny to say it, but a real auteur is very simple. It's somebody who's not taking somebody else's material and intelligently transferring it to the screen. It's their mind, it's their heart, it's their exact way of seeing things and feeling things. And to me, that's what an audience taps into the most, is it's all subconscious. You can describe the movie, but what you get when you see the movie is a real feeling of what a really interesting man is feeling and thinking. It's exciting to be inside of somebody else's brain. You're not inside a corporation that figured out how to market something that would make you buy a ticket. And it's a crucial difference, I think.